Welcome back, guys, to another exciting episode of Be Different Podcast. I'm your host, Nekesa Esther, and I have with me a very special guest. I call her Shiroh, but she'll tell us her M-Pesa names. She'll tell us her M-Pesa names, and she'll tell us what she does. And then, welcome, Shiroh.
Thank you. I am Shiroh. Everyone calls me Shiroh. Everyone, at least from high school, after high school, calls me Shiroh.
Okay.
I prefer to officially use Wanjiru Thuo.
Okay.
The M-Pesa one, we'll keep it M-Pesa. We shall keep it the government names. We do not use those. But yeah, I'm a baker. I make the most amazing cakes you will ever eat. Yes.
And you also sing.
Oh yes,
Shiroh,
I
you do a lot.
sing. I also sing, and I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a mom to the best kid.
Welcome, Shiroh, to Be Different Podcast.
Thank you.
And should I say or should you say? The reason why I invited Shiroh is because I thought she has a very interesting story, just to encourage, you, our viewer, our audience, just an encouragement on any struggle, how to overcome it. And specifically now for Shiroh, when I met you, I did not know you were struggling with, I didn't know it was an issue for you. But of course, seeing from where I was seeing you from, I'm just seeing this beautiful chick and her friends who can sing. That's how I knew you. Yeah. And then next thing I know or hear, you were on Slim Possible. Yes. So we're like, yay, this TV program and nini. Then she came back snatched from here to, God knows where. So Shiroh, tell us your story. And maybe you can start with, when did you know you have a weight struggle? And
Well, for a very long time, I didn't think I had an issue with weight, especially because boarding school has a way of keeping you fit. And so the boarding school I was in had, when you come from a bougie school to a boarding school, there's no kind boarding school unless it's IGCSE, and then you're moving from sausages and meatballs and stuff, and then now you're moving into githeri and ileluf na beans and stuff like that. It was culture shock proper for me. So I really just became very skinny very quickly, and so that was the trend for 4 years. Then when I finished, my parents, they just compensated with a lot of grab. A lot of grab, and so I had all of it once I finished. And so one day the TV is off, and right before I joined Form 1, the TV is off, and I'm walking in front of the TV. I remember I was in white. I was in white 3/4 pants and a white t-shirt. And I walk in front of the TV and I look at myself. I'm like, who is that? Like, mpaka unaangalia kando kona for real. Like, who is that? And like, that can't possibly be me. That's the TV has a magnifying effect, so that's what it's done. I didn't really understand until now I joined school. And so I'm joining school and everyone is looking at me like, are you sure you're in Form 1?
Wait, this is high school. Let me just for clarification, you were in boarding in primary school, like upper primary, and then now this is high school, Form 1.
Exactly. And so now I'm back from my boarding school and I'm meeting now bougie kids. And so I am the chunkiest in class. And so I prefer to use the word chunky. I don't like the F word. Yeah, so I'm the chunkiest in class, and I'm looking at, and everyone is looking at me like, yo, how is this possible? And then now the worst part is I have short hair. Everything is working against me.
Which is what?
Short hair. Short palmed hair look like an eaten mango.
The seed.
Yeah, exactly. I looked so weird. And then now I just had surgery at the back of it. Let me tell you, Form 1 was just a chaotic time. I had like a big bandage. So everyone is looking at me. First, you're oversized. Secondly, what happened to you? Were you katakatwan? And then my hair is just not working against me. It's not working for me. So now I think that's when I realized for real.
And big.
Yeah, this is a thing. And then you just don't back down. You just keep ballooning, because now me, I'm an emotional eater. Yes, and we eat well at
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
So the food was good,
Yeah.
and I was eating a lot of it, and
Yeah.
so I kept going and going and going.
And I can
going.
imagine in day school, so just slightly paint for us your program. Like you could do breakfast at home, then lunch. Do you do it in
Then
school?
break.
Oh,
Then
there's break.
breakfast, then there's break, which I think we used to carry. Yeah, I used to carry, I think, hot dogs. And then there's lunch, and then now I'm in this school, they're eating very well.
Okay.
So it's now minced meat and rice, and this spaghetti and this, and this fries and this. It was fantastic. Yeah. And so there's break, and then there was, I don't know if there was a 4 o'clock snack. I'm not too sure. But then if there was none, there was at home. So you go and find it
go
at
home and find.
And then dinner.
Yeah.
And so my schedule for eating was well.
Yeah.
Was well.
And this
prepared.
time, are you sharing with anyone? Wait, I'm big. I'm trying to do something. The way people talk.
You know, it's not. You've not internalized it yet.
Okay.
You know, the first time you come from being small, like size 8. Say you come from being size 8. I was never size 8, but just
picture it, visualize.
So you come from being that small to then being size 16.
Yeah.
And you never saw the progression.
Okay.
So you can imagine the first time I see it is on that television screen.
Yeah.
And so I've still not internalized it. My clothes fit, mini fit. Then suddenly, every year, we're buying new uniform because every year I'm not fitting into the old ones.
Yeah.
It starts being different and different. And so now I'm wearing big clothes because now you don't want to show things. And so I'm wearing long whatever they call it, long t-shirts or long tops so that you can cover your bum. And it was just a weird time.
There was that struggle.
Yeah, so I never really internalized it to the point where I'm talking to someone and telling them, oh, by the way, I want to lose weight. No, I was just, you just adjust to the times. You're getting bigger, get bigger clothes. That's it. Yeah.
And you're eating. Remember, you're eating to stuff the, to silence the voices and the emotions.
At this point, I'm not even being an emotional eater.
Oh, you're not?
At this point, I'm just cruising through
You're just
life.
being a kid.
Now, let me tell you what happened. At some point in time in high school, one of some kids did a magazine. And so they did a before and after. And so they did for a few of us. Okay. And so mine, they drew me when I walked into Form 1, and apparently I was this kakavi chick. Now you remember I was telling you I looked like a mango seed. Yeah. Yeah. Now apparently I was this kakavi kid. I looked fly, and they drew me like I don't know if they did with a bikini or whatever. They drew me really nicely for the before, and then after they just did a round figure
in the school magazine.
It wasn't the school magazine, but it wasn't the official one. But it was one of those things these kids start to do.
Bougie kids, please.
Let me tell you, it's a whole hassle. So they drew like a round figure with 2 stick legs, and then my short hair from Form 1. I think Form 4, Form 3, Form 4.
At that point.
At this point, now you're like, okay, now I see it. Now it's serious,
Yeah.
Now it's getting to a point where it's becoming a thing for people to pick at.
Yeah.
Now you start noticing, and you're like, okay, so what can we do here?
And high school is a very important season in our lives. Like, we never forget.
No.
And that bullying sort of sticks with you. It's trauma.
It is. And it doesn't get any better because I was in day school,
Yeah.
And so matatu guys don't care. And so they're telling you, oh, na need kulipia viti mbili. You're in high school. And then they're looking at you, tembe kidogo madam.
Everyone feels like they can throw around advice.
Exactly. And so all of these voices start compounding. And so it starts with a magazine here, and then you go for a function, and they're like, hey, umenona, and then you walk into a matatu, and they're like, hey, madam, jifinye, fanya mazoezi kidogo, vitu kaa hizo. And so they start getting to you a bit. They start growing. The voices become much more louder than any confidence you had. And so where I thought that I had not perceived it, now it's very out there. It's very loud. Yeah.
Oh my God. So how are you handling it? Can you remember how you were? Yeah, of course you're hearing.
Yes.
But can you go back to that time and just tell me what Shiroh was feeling, especially now in school? Did it affect your performance?
I don't know if it affected my performance more than it affected how I viewed myself. Because I've just remembered something I used to do. Because in primary school, because of a lot of the bullying I went through, I started an I Hate Me book. Yeah, I had. Now you see the way people journal to express their feelings. I would journal to express the hate I have for myself.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I would write and I would write and I would write and I would properly self-depreciate. Kill myself properly. And so by the time I'm getting into high school, and now these voices are coming in, I started my own. And now at this point we have A4 books, so now I have proper space for it.
Right.
And so I went into it properly. I went into myself. I was like, you're so ugly. Look at yourself. Look, you're such a whale. You know, now the voices, now you start hearing, you're expressing.
They become now your...
Yes, they become your expression.
Have you picked them as your truth now?
Yes, now it becomes a truth. There's no way you believe you're beautiful because no one is saying it. And so you go to family functions. No one is telling you, oh wow, you look amazing. Nothing. It's, oh wow, you've grown big. And so all of that now is what I was expressing. And I'm talking about, oh, you look like a whale. And, oh, look at how you look. Oh, look what the people are saying. They're right. I found my baby photos. In fact, one of my baby pictures when I was 4 months old, I took, and at the back I wrote, look how ugly you are. Imagine.
Oh my God, at 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, when you were a baby at 4 months, but no, this is you in high school doing this.
This is me in high school. And I'm properly self-depreciating. It was so bad. It was so bad. And then we cosaned with this group of chicks. And then they thought it was a fun idea to pick my book, open it, and leave it on the counter.
Oh, goodness.
I was so mad. I was so furious. One of them came and apologized and told me, oh yeah, by the way, this was my idea. I'm sorry we did that. I didn't know it was this bad. But what ended up happening was there was a plus-size teacher. My Kiswahili teacher was plus-size. And she used to wear these mini skirts and high heels. And she used to look fabulous. And so she called me and told me, you cannot do this to yourself.
Oh.
She sat me down and she told me, I've looked like this all my life. And so I don't know any other body. And so she's telling me you have to get to that point where you love yourself. And so right there and then you're looking at her, you're like, oh, Jui, what do you know? Those were those days, this is now, what do you know? And so her words didn't sink in. Now they do, but then they didn't sink in.
Wow. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that must have been an issue. You know, this weight thing, we talk about it just, you know, on the surface. And the way there are these memes, which I keep laughing about because I use them on myself. That one of when I looked back and I thought I was fat and now I'm really fat and I want to go back and...
I spent my 20s thinking I was fat.
Yeah. And now I want to go back and be like, can I be that fat and not...
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We always cruise over it.
We talk about it like as a, you know, lightly, but going down and really looking at the effects and the impact that it has. I remember telling someone that I've always considered myself big. Because I was also big. I grew big in high school. So I grew up knowing that I'm big. So when I look at some of the photos back, and I'm like, there's a time I was this small.
Someone must have told you that.
Imagine me, I've grown up knowing I'm big and I'm always working hard to grow small. What you just see me
Whatever
around food.
You're losing weight.
I am. I'm on just this constant losing weight.
And the worst part is you're not even big.
That's the thing.
What is big? Who said what is big?
You should see me. I stand like this in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, next you need to lose a lot. You know, you need to lose some of this, you need to lose some of this.
I know.
And I'm just from your words, I'm picking the extent to which we are affected as a people because of, you know, those things that either we have been told, like you're saying, so we had and then we internalized and now that's what we are putting out. And that's how now we are living it. Like, oh yeah, I'm so big.
It's something I'm very intentional about. I tell my son, you can't tell people they're fat. You can't laugh at people and tell them that, like, oh, you're fat, oh, you're this. You can't do that because you make someone's mom feel bad and you make that child feel bad. And so you need to be very intentional about what you speak into other people, especially your friends.
Yeah.
So it's it has to start with us. It has to start with how we talk to our kids about size, about all of this. And so they're not thinking it's abnormal to be any other shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, so now you're here, oh my God, I think I just felt that I hate book, it really overwhelmed me.
I'm sorry.
So it's okay. So tell me, where do you complete high school with now all this in your head, and what, do you have that gap year? How do you?
So I finished high school. And me, when I finish these stages of my life, I finish.
You celebrate.
Nimemaliza story nimeondoka.
Mtu anasikianga kusema, no, I should tell me to touch a book and read in this house.
Don't try it. So I finished high school and properly rebrand. I dropped my first name.
Okay.
And so now I'm Shiroh. And so I joined campus. I joined campus immediately after high school. So I joined campus, and now I said, you know what? I'm a new creature. I'm a new person. This weight thing is not gonna bother me. And for real, it was seen.
Wow.
Like the whole confidence thing was seen. But you know, the voices are still there. Let me tell you, the moment you start changing, you're still fat. That voice, you're still chunky. You know, you're still big. So tone it down a notch, you know. And so I joined campus, and I really like fitting clothes.
Wow.
I don't know if I would say fitting clothes. I like clothes that fit my body. And so I'm there with my pencil skirts, I'm there with my skinny jeans, and I'm there with my flared trousers. And so I'm looking and feeling good. And it was noticeable. You could see the attention. I made friends quick. And it wasn't difficult up until, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I got into a bad relationship. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Nimekumbuka. That one, he who shall not be named. 2009. I get into a really messed up relationship. And so this guy would call, and he would just inadvertently call at a point when I'm eating. And so every time I call you, you're eating. I'm like, it's lunchtime. What should I be doing? It's dinner time. It's breakfast. Of course I'm eating. And if he happens to call when I'm snacking, then that's trouble. And so he would dig at that. And say, look at you. Who would marry you? Look at you.
He would actually say those words.
Yes. And then now me, I'm like a hard head, so I'm a bit stubborn. And so he would say, look at politician X and politician Y. Let me not mention their names. And you see, they're divorced and singles because they're hard-headed like you. Yes, they say that. Now I look back and I'm like, thank you for putting me in good company. Those are good women. But when I think back into that, I was like, yeah. So how you view yourself also factors into who you allow yourself to date. And so 2009 was trash.
What? And that relationship lasted how long?
April to November, I think. Didn't last too long. Yeah, and then I was done. Then I was done.
Okay, so all this time, can you really say you have done something? Have you done anything?
To deal with her. At this point, I've tried to lose weight. I've joined the special diet section in campus. And so it's not working because now I don't know why they thought special diet meant different food. So they were cooking very good food. They're just cooking better food than they were cooking for the other people. Yeah, you cook for mashed potatoes and a steak. That's what's for losing weight.
Yes, please, special
diet. This is where I should be. So I was eating very well. We're eating desserts. There was a cafeteria there that sells cake, and you're given pocket money. By all means, I'm there with my cake. And then the canteen had this small juice that used to be sold for 15, but we used to call it Ka 15. So there I was, me and my Ka juice and ice cream and this and that. So there's nothing like losing weight. You're still gaining it. You're still gaining it. And then I started this tradition on Sundays when I would go back to school, where I would go through Galitos and get their spicy rice and chicken liver. That means slaps to this day. To this day.
I love how you enjoy your meals.
I really do. I really like. I came into myself last year where I sat and just told God, you know what, God, me, I love food. This is the truth. I love good food, not just food, but good food.
Yeah.
I love sweets. I love cake. I love chocolate. I love all of these things.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna lose weight?
Yeah.
So now you tell me, what's the plan here? You know. So now I can describe food that way. Before last year, I wouldn't.
So at least campus life is good.
Campus life was good. It wasn't bad.
And the fact that you had rebranded and you whatever your truth.
Yes.
You know, what is it called?
I came into myself.
Is it like reflecting to the world your truth? It's like
I was reflecting what I wanted the world to view me as, but not my truth. You see.
So at the time, what was your truth? The voices were still putting you down.
Are still there. You're trying to be confident, but the voice is still there. You still walk on the streets, and everyone is looking at you like. And then that song Enone Momo came out. You can imagine, and so now there's a new word in town for being chunky, and so now you're Momo.
Yeah.
And so I was working hard to reflect what I wanted people to see. But I was not living it. Yeah. So I went into Slim Possible after campus.
Yeah.
It was as a
okay. Let me just ask something because I'm trying to trying to see your journey from now just a normal other perspective. At this point, have you realized your strengths? Any other thing you're doing so well that you can use it to, you know, this is not working, but hello, look at this. I am doing this so well. I am, you know, because there's that, it's like a defense mechanism for covering up.
Yes.
So have you discovered any of your strengths, talents?
At this point, I'm in choir. At this point,
Are you proud of all these other things that you're doing?
Every other thing was perfection. Just the weight, just how I viewed myself.
Yeah.
Just that.
And this was the one in front or dictating every other.
Exactly.
So that's where you're not even seeing that. You're not saying, yeah, I used to sing very well. I used to be in choir. All this season, campus. When did you join the choir?
I joined in 2009, and I joined because there was a trip to the States.
No problem, but you went.
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't go. Okay. Okay.
But I didn't go.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was I auditioned, and I didn't think I was good enough until I went through. I actually went through. And so I went through, and they were like, Shiroh, you got in. And people are calling me, they're telling me, your name's been posted on the notice board, you got in, you're going to the States. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, yes. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I actually could sing well.
Yeah.
And then it actually blew up because in that time for campus, I ended up singing for the president.
Imagine. So me, I'm wondering, that is not defining that season for you?
No, it's not. Because that's not what you see. You never see your achievements.
Imagine. Because, I know singing, it's a big deal. Like, you made it. And
yeah, we sang at State House. We went to State House. We sang at this political event. I think Nyayo, there was like a thing where we sang there. And then we had an event where we were invited as a choir to go and sing. And so it was massive. It was massive.
Other things are happening in your life.
Other things are happening in my life, but they're not big. As in, a guy's looking at me and thinking I'm cute. Those are big issues. I'm singing well, that we know.
I mean, so according to you, that's not a big deal. It's just, one of your other things. Shelve it. When do you start baking?
Oh, I started baking like a year after I finished campus. But all this time, I started a business. I even sold clothes. I was doing very well in campus. Yeah, I was doing very well in campus in other things. Yeah, but in every other, internally, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what makes you join Slim Possible? Tell us that process.
Let me tell you what happened. So this chick tells me, Shiroh, let's go to Slim Possible. We work hard, then we lose weight, and then we win. Whoever wins will split the money. Okay. Two ways.
So that was
that was the motivation.
End goal. Okay.
Yeah, this was the motivation at this point.
Yeah.
And so the day for the auditions come. I've told no one but this chick what we are doing.
Okay.
And so we go. I go, I get there. I'm calling this chick, she's not answering. Kume, she's just snaked me. Anyway, so I
Legend.
happened to just be there
By yourself.
by myself.
Oh, your motivation has named
My
you.
motivation now is like I have to win this money on my own.
Mm.
So now we go, I interview. They really liked my story. They really liked the whole situation. And so part of it was, let me tell you, I've not told you. First of all, I have a hot mom. You've seen my mom.
I know your mom.
It does not help my life.
I know your mom. She's my namesake. I can't forget that.
I have a hot mom. So you can imagine I'm telling these people, by the way, we went on holiday one time and this dude is checking my mom out. And not me. And we're in the pool together.
Hello, I'm the daughter. She's the mom.
Yeah. So that I think that story really endeared to them. So I got in, I sailed through to the end. I was one of the finalists. And so by the time I was finishing, I was a changed woman.
Yeah.
Mentally, I feel like it wasn't there yet, but I feel like, because I still went back to bad habits. I still went back to eating the way I would eat. I tried to maintain, but I still went back. And then I just got
But no, you
pregnant.
didn't go back immediately.
No, it's like a slow progress for gaining
From
weight.
after.
After, because what happens? I'm still the one cooking. I'm still the one going to buy food and stuff like that. And so we're in the supermarket with the folks, and then so can we pick this? Can we buy this? Can we eat this? Can we go out? Can we, if they say yes, we are eating pizza. If they say yes, we are going out. If they say yes, it's KFC. It's, stuff like that. And so bad habits maintain. And so weight loss is a mental thing. You need to heal a lot of stuff just before you even embark on the whole weight loss journey. Yeah.
So what did you, from Slim Possible, you said you were a changed person.
I was a changed person. How I carried myself changed. Because now I'm confident. I'm feeling myself. I'm looking fly. I've not looked this fly since when, So I went and did a whole new wardrobe. I'm no longer looking like my mom's sister. At least now I look like her daughter. I'm feeling myself. I'm looking hot. People are commenting. Now what you've always wanted is now finally happening. And so you're there now. I'm feeling myself, and so I get into this thing. Then I get pregnant.
Now that.
I get a whole new body again.
Kwanza pregnancy.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
You are not ready.
I gained weight after Isaiah came. Because when I was pregnant, I had zero appetite. So I was losing weight instead of gaining, which was not good for my kid and was not, my doctors were not happy. But watch I get the baby. It's like all the doors opened. And now, I want food.
Shiroh is back.
9 months of not eating, I want it now.
And plus I'm breastfeeding.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So there, it comes back.
All of it.
All of it.
Plus more. Because I gained that plus 14 more kgs. Yes.
So what do you do after that?
I just coast through life. Now, dude, now you have a kid. You don't care what people think.
And you're like, this motherhood thing, my body went through.
I went through it. Let me be.
Yeah,
but they're telling you you're getting unhealthy. You're getting a bit too big.
Who's telling you? Is it your doctor?
People.
Oh, the people.
Just, So you're getting too big. You won't be able to run after your kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my son is active. He can run on his own. I mean, I don't need to be there running after him.
Yeah.
But buying new clothes was hell. Getting new clothes and then seeing like the entire body change, and now you're round. You're no longer like this.
Yeah.
So it was a whole change until one time one of my relatives sat me down and told me, our family has a history of diabetes. And so you need to be here for your son. And so they suggested we do the surgery. And so that now sat me down, and I'm like, okay, let me think about this. And so so we went ahead, we did it. And so I went ahead and lost a good amount of weight. I lost about 40 at my highest. I lost about 40 kilos. I went and lost 40 kilos. And at this point now, I'm understanding. Someone once asked me, Shiroh, if you were to go back and do praise and worship, would you do it to the level you think it should be done? And I was like, no. then they told me, so if you lose weight, don't lose weight for people. Lose weight because you want to serve God well. And so that changed my mind completely on how I do things. And so my motivation for doing things will always begin and end with God.
Okay.
Never anyone else. Because then my validation will not be everybody else. It will always be God. And so before, actually I have a nice story. One time we were in church. And then, so we were, it was a youth service, it was during the conference, and the youth were called to be prayed for, and the prophets were there and they were praying for us. And so I thought I would receive a word. I did not. And so I was so disappointed. I walked back to my seat crying and crying and crying. And then the Holy Spirit whispered the most beautiful words. He just said, "You are so beautiful." That was enough. Those words were enough because I have received validation from the most perfect being. Na hajali venye nakaa. Ameniangalia tu amesema, "You're beautiful." That's it.
Okay.
Now that changed me completely. It changed how I viewed myself. Every time the voices would come back, the Holy Spirit would remind me.
Tell me about the surgery. So first, okay, so I like that. I don't know, I wanted to ask, what was different, you know, this relative that came to speak to you, what was different this time?
This time?
Because, you know, relatives have been around you, you guys have been going for family functions, nini. Yeah. What was different this time?
The difference, I think, is because I was not paying for it.
You were not paying for?
I was not paying for the
solution
surgery
that you were given.
Yeah. What was different this time is I understood why we needed to do it.
Okay.
And so when they mentioned my son, and they're like, you need to be here long enough to see your son grow. And you need to be, and also I'd seen one of my relatives die from diabetes. And so those two aspects brought in a clarity I needed. And so I went, I prayed about it. I felt it was good to go with it. And we went ahead with it.
Okay. And what kind of surgery was it?
I got something called a banded sleeve surgery. And so what it is so there's a surgery called gastric sleeve. So basically what they do is they take 85% of your stomach out and leave you with 15%. So they leave you with like a small sleeve in your body. So basically what it does, it does not stop you from eating what you want. It just limits how much you can eat. And so the normal human stomach is a liter. And
1
so
liter.
Yeah, so they take out 850 ml, they leave you with 150.
Okay.
And so when you start, this entire glass of water, you cannot fit in your stomach. It's a lot of water, and so you're supposed to take this over the course of 2 hours. Yeah, so that your stomach then does not rupture and all of that. And so you eat very small portions of food. Like a kiddie meal, I cannot finish. Yeah, I can't finish a kiddie meal.
We overeat. We should all move to China, because you know, I know they're too
yeah. So that's how I eat. And so if I overeat, there's consequence to pay, because the food needs to move slowly into your gut. And so if you overeat, it all remains up here.
Doesn't go inside the stomach.
It won't go as fast as you need it to go. It can even take a whole day for it to just drop in. And so the solution would be to throw up.
I understand you. So you, that's how Shiroh the woman has been impacted, or rather that is doing this journey. That's how you have been impacted. And how about, you know, now on the physical relationships? Do you go places and you're like, oh, you guys, I'm not eating this, I'm not eating that.
Well, I still do. Let me tell you, when it comes to carrots and avocados, that's where the line is drawn. I will not do carrots, and I will not eat an avocado like this. I can't. Make it into guac. Make it bougie. Make the avocado bougie.
We've cancelled Shiroh. Shiroh, surely avocado.
Avocado is the
we'll
worst
sell our souls for it.
Buy me mangoes. Bring me mangoes. Me and Cambas like this. We are together.
Okay, so avocados and carrots.
Yeah,
but you're not you know, you're not, you see, at the end of the day, I know you've explained about, Shiroh, the motive
Yeah.
for, doing this and for keeping on the journey. I want to ask this question so that you understand me. In terms of your relationships, yes, you've said you will look at yourself differently from that validation from the Holy Spirit, yes.
Yeah.
But then again, there's that what you're projecting, who you are now. You're still Shiroh.
Yeah.
You're still Shiroh, our baker, you're still Shiroh, our singer, you're still, yes. But there's something that is happening. Change, that change. And we are commenting. We're like, ooh, Shiroh nakuona, fire. Me, I'm always commenting. Kwanza on your two posts on Instagram, I'm always there. I'm just like, wow, Shiroh. Ooh, the bold colors that you've been putting out and what have you. Still, Shiroh the woman, how is she impacted?
So now I'm no longer projecting, I am becoming. And so what you're seeing is exactly what I'm feeling.
It's the truth.
It's the
the other time
now.
we were saying you were reflecting.
Yes, what I wanted you guys to see.
Oh.
Now you're seeing what I want, what I am.
What you are, your truth kabisa.
Yes, my truth kabisa.
You're smiling, it's a smile from the inside for real.
Exactly. If you see me listening to music, I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
If you see me in the supermarket shopping and I'm listening to my jams and I'm feeling it, sometimes I'll stop and just groove. And it's just loving who I am.
Yeah.
And it all stemmed from that one. You are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just now enjoying Wanjiru and enjoying her calves, big or small, and learning to love my thighs, my thunder thighs, and loving to love these arms that refuse to lose weight, and learning to accept that I actually really like my round face. Yeah. And I'm actually learning to, you know what, I like sister locks because then I can shower from head to toe. I'm
they look really nice with them.
Thank you.
I wanted to, now, there's this social media craze.
Yes.
Teens are, throwing themselves off buildings and killing themselves every other day. The way social media is just out there. And this thing of weight is all over. I know even today, Shiroh, someone can throw a comment. Those ones of, you need to exercise more. Still, today.
Yeah.
Someone can throw that comment. Someone can still, throw around those negative comments and whatever. And people who are smaller than you are getting the same, So what can you tell someone? What can you tell these young girls of ours? This is not the last thing. There's a question that I don't want to forget to ask, but I have to ask it. But please talk to these young girls. I don't know I don't know how you'll start. Just do it. Try.
Something I always ask everyone who tells me, what have you done? What's the secret? How can I lose weight? Is I always ask, why do you want to lose weight? The why will let you know what you're doing it for. Because you're like, I want to look good. Why do you want to look good? Who's told you don't look good now? Who is this who's talking to you and telling you you're different from what everything else is saying? And so once we sit down and we figure out and you start now hearing, I've always been big. I've always been told I'm big. I don't like when my stomach is like this. Who said it's wrong to look like that? Because what if 5 years from now you get a kid and your stomach changes? Will you stop loving yourself then? And so now I sit with people and I explain to them, you need to figure out your why. And if it's not anything to do with health or with your purpose, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't lose weight.
Yeah.
If it will not affect your outcome of how you relate to your kids, especially your kids and your family, leave it alone.
Yeah.
If it will not affect how you do your purpose, leave it alone. If your health is not at risk, leave it alone. Because any other reason is very superficial. You might be losing weight for a guy, then you break up. Then what was it all for? You might be losing weight for your parents, and unfortunately, this will sound very rude. They'll die, and then now you have no more motivation for weight loss. You lose weight for things that don't matter. You struggle to look good for things that don't count. And so after all of these things, when you remove all of these things, if you were to be left alone on this earth, who are you?
Will you still be losing weight?
Would you still want to lose weight?
Yeah.
Because now then there's no one telling you look bad.
Yeah.
So I would just honestly sit them down. I would just ask them, why? why are you struggling so much to fit into a mold?
That is powerful.
Thank you.
Preached out of my losing weight situation.
Good. That's the point.
So I wanted to ask, can you comment or have you ever thought about your family setup? Like just maybe you, your parents and yourself, whether that has played any role into this weight issue and whether you're doing anything. Do you think about it now when dealing with Isaiah?
I do. So my dad's side of the family, we have chunky genes. My mom's side of the family, they just have the hourglass figure. And so those guys just don't grow big. I don't understand. So now mix those two genes and then there's Wanjiru. And so...
No, I'm asking in terms of just your nuclear home, how it was run.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm getting there.
Okay.
And so now what I've come to discover is my parents have had their childhoods and how they were brought up. And so I've come to have a lot of grace for them because a lot of the trauma they faced, they ended up bringing to me. And I'm not bashing them and I'm not making them look bad. It's just what it was. They really went through some really tough times. And so I don't blame them because they grew up and then they had to work and then I was there and then I have to go to school and they have to make a living and I have to live comfortably. And so there's no time for them to actually sit down and deal with it. And now they're heading into retirement. And so they can't afford to sit with their feelings because their pasts are too painful. And so now I don't blame them. I don't castigate how they brought me up. They did what they could with the best they could. But now, I, Wanjiru, have noticed all of that. And so what can I do to change? How I speak to my son matters. Every day. How are you, my baby? You look so good. How are you, my love? You are so cute. Do you know that? And so to the point where my son is like, Mom, stop. You need to stop. Because I've affirmed his looks so much that it is not an issue. The other day he was doing his homework. And he said, one question was, what do you like about yourself? And he's shorter than the average kid. I said, I'm so tall. I like that I'm tall.
And you told him, write that.
He's like, I'm cute. You know, 8 years of work is paying off. And I'm like, good, there we go, there we go. You have the cutest smile. Because when he removed his front teeth, he was really afraid. Like, smile, you look very nice. And so even when we take pictures, you know the way kids just smile like they're being beaten. I tell him, smile like you're laughing, you have a beautiful smile. And so every picture he poses for, if he came here, tell him, smile for the camera, he'll just light up. And I love it because that's what I wanted for myself but didn't get. And so now I get to give it to my son. My son gets to live the life I always wanted to live. And so he gets affirmed from home. So there's no chick who'll one day tell him, hey, you're kahang. He knows it is in him, kabisa. He knows I love him. He knows I have his back for sure. He does not care if he's the shortest kid in that class. He's tall.
I really like that.
There's nothing you tell him. Yeah, he's the best soccer player you meet. Like, he really talks very highly of himself. Like, I said, you know you're cute. Yes, I know. I'm like, my guy.
Yes.
Humble. Yes. Humility. Humility, at least.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I like that you're putting in the work. Man, yes. I feel like we really have to recognize such things. You see, this weight, I didn't think that, I don't know, I just sat here and I'm like, yeah, this is a big deal. And this has been a big deal.
Yes.
It's just that we tend to either laugh it off, brush it off. And it's like it's usually like a whole discussion. Even me, like with my sisters, we stand, we're like, hey, say we are losing weight. Ati me, my hands, me, my he, me, my he. Like it's a conversation that just, comes up almost everywhere. Women are, especially
and it's so
women.
Bad, to the point where a pregnant woman even feels bad that their body is changing. They're carrying
Imagine. Imagine you're there, you're pregnant, and you're busy taking what these other people are taking to lose weight and all. I'm like, it's not good for you.
Exactly.
For your baby and for your situation.
Even for your mind, it's not. It's not, because you get into a place that you don't need to be in.
Yeah.
All the time.
Even
you're
here,
just thinking.
at work, we're just busy there.
Mm.
Do you know this memes for, there's that person who is always in the kitchen getting water and putting cucumbers and lemons.
It is
the others are working. No, that's not me.
Okay,
but I'm
good.
just no, we always have that water bottle that,
I
you
know.
know, you're always
The
doing
infusers.
Okay, it's not me.
Yeah.
But we are always doing something. Like, we're always just walking conscious of our weights and how, and it's sad.
It is.
Recently, I was thinking about this truth, that no matter how many times you read the memes, no matter how many times you're told that self-love and self-awareness, until you yourself, you come to that truth, there's no day you'll realize over time that voice in your head will not have changed until uamke. I don't know what kuamka now means for you, but it really needs to come from inside. Like, really wake up and tell yourself, you know what, I love myself. I love myself the way I am. Yes, if there's something I can do, ABC, let me do it. Let me be conscious about it and move towards it. But that thing of self-love, guys, it's a revolution. There's a point you were saying where when you went to campus and you were, you know, coming to and loving yourself, but then again, you said something about the voices are still fighting you, and that statement came to mind. Like, self-love is a whole revolution. Like, it's a whole fight.
It is.
And it's an everyday thing, an everyday struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, let me stop talking. Shiroh, tell us your parting shots.
I always tell people this. If you want your small journey, it's not a small journey, but if you want your journey to self-love to begin, pick a thing about yourself and affirm it. Go and look at the mirror. Say, I love my nose. This is the most beautiful nose you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And keep at it.
Yeah.
The next day, the eyes. The next day, the ears.
Yeah.
The next day, the lips.
Yeah.
It's just small to things.
Yeah.
One day it will come to, look at this body.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's amazing. Look at those curves. Look at that. Look at my arms. They've carried me.
Yeah.
My legs have carried me through crazy things, you know. And one day you'll get to a point where you're like, I love me for me.
Yeah.
And so it will always start from, big grand things, diets, maybe those are good for the external, but internally where it counts, start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this was such a lovely episode. I didn't want it to end. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. Please leave a comment and tell us what you think about, you know, weight issues, whether you're a guy or a woman. Have you met someone struggling with weight, and, you know, what have they done about it, or what can you tell them about it after hearing this story? Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.